parent,
Yeah.
that you're happy and you're there, and they can feel like because they're like kids, they're like sponges, they're
Yeah.
absorbing everything.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Parenthood, the podcast where we dive deep into the beautiful, challenging, and rewarding journey of parenthood. I'm your host, Neha Garg. Each week, we bring you heartfelt stories and insightful conversations with parents who share their unique experiences, challenges, and joys of raising children, unveiling the persons behind the parents along the way. Today, we have the privilege of diving into the life of Gauri Malik, a force of nature who embodies the spirit of modern motherhood. Gauri is the founder of Sirohi, a sustainable luxury brand that empowers women artisans from rural India. Her handcrafted home and lifestyle products are a testament to her dedication to ethical practices and exquisite design. She has birthed and nurtured her brand and organization with the same love, care, and dedication as she has for her daughters, 3 years old Ida and 1 year old Dia. Balancing the demands of a thriving business with the joys and challenges of raising young children is no easy feat, yet, Gauri approaches it with an unwavering spirit, a contagious passion, and a heart full of love. As we delve into her story today, we'll gain insights into the beautiful chaos that is her life, the strategies that she's adopted to navigate motherhood and entrepreneurship, and the wisdom she's accumulated along the way. So, Gauri, welcome to Parenthood. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I think that was such a glorified introduction that even I feel like, wow, who's this person?
We
It's
all,
definitely
I
not
think,
me.
yeah, I think we all need to be, held a mirror sometimes from someone other than us to really,
Yeah.
really see who we are as a person. But I must say from the outside, I don't know how chaotic your world is inside, but from outside it just looks absolutely glorious and yeah, so I'm not gonna shy away and appreciate you for it.
No, thank you so much. And I'm glad the chaos is not visible and it comes across as organized, which is good. And that's, I think that is more because, I very strongly decided, and we'll talk about it more, that
Yeah.
I decided that I'm going to devise a template that really does structure my life, because I do
Mhm.
have very, very bold, strong ambitions. And I know how hard it is to have those ambitions while being a mom, having two little girls, and living away from your business. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a multitude of challenges, but I am determined to overcome them.
I'm sure. And before we delve into your story, Gauri, let's get to know you a little better, you as a person. So, if you were to describe yourself in 3 words, maybe 3 phrases, what would they be?
Mm, I think persistent,
Mm-hmm.
um passionate,
Mm-hmm.
and simplicity.
Oh, wow, powerful words, Gauri. And if we were to talk about your life story as of now, if it were maybe a novel or you were writing your autobiography, what would be its title and what chapter are you currently on?
The irony is that I have actually decided that at some point of time, I want to write a book because I want to fully live life.
Yeah.
And I want to juggle between what the title of the book would be. It changes every year. So I'm not going to name a book that I already know. I'm going to tell you what
Uh-huh.
potentially that book will be. And it's going to be called The Strategic Hustler.
Uh-huh.
And and I think the chapter that I am on is currently the hustle, and at
Uh-huh.
some point that hustle will become strategic. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm. A
I
very,
think that.
I should say, it without saying much, it tells a lot about where you are and what you are juggling and hustling. So I should say it's a very captivating title. Thank you for sharing that with us. And now let's get to the thick of things and let's talk about your beautiful family. you have, as you've already shared with us, you have two beautiful daughters, Ida and Dia, and your partner Rishabh. So could you tell us a bit about their personalities and how they are?
Oh God, it's funny that I speak so much about Sirohi that I could just say it like, no, like it's just there. When somebody asks me, and this is the first time about my family, my husband and my daughters, I think it's not something I really thought about. But my husband, I'll start with my husband
Yeah.
because, part of me is an entrepreneur because of him. He is on the other side, he's an investor.
Hmm.
He is this really tall, good looking, attractive guy who I fell in love with because of very, frivolous reasons because of his looks. And then the fact that he's also a very, very, um, I think we share the same passion for bringing about change
Hmm.
in people's lives. His is in the form of supporting entrepreneurs and young founders, and for me, it's for the work that I do, like creating income opportunities for women, and I would say, underdogs in some way. I've always been
Yeah.
that person, and so he's kind. He is really compassionate. He is very, very generous, very large-hearted. uh, he's also a monster, uh, and and everything that a man is sometimes, most times. And we have our issues, and we have our hundred things we argue and fight about. And I think one thing that he really struggles with is me being his wife and the mother of his two daughters, while also being an entrepreneur that is really, really obsessed with what she does.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're also very clear that we have our ecosystem, which is him and me, and then our kids, and then our work,
Yeah.
and all of these things take priority at different points of time. But yeah, I think we have a good uh, a good relationship that is truly required for a woman entrepreneur in today's world.
Yeah.
And I think because of the support of my partner, I'm able to do what I'm doing, because it definitely would not be possible if I didn't have that support system.
Yeah.
um, so that's about him. And he's also very ambitious with very, very big goals in life and things he wants to achieve. And he's a lot more dedicated person than I am when it comes to
Mhm.
work. Sometimes I'll just be like, forget it, I can't do this. But
Yeah.
he will find a way to solve it, everything he solves. My daughters are, God, they're the sweetest, sweetest things on earth. You know, they are, I always say they're like my fame and fortune.
Oh, how
When
sweet.
yeah, at least that's for me, like selfish
Yeah.
reasons. Because I think Ida, when Ida was born, I was fortunate somehow to like suddenly get all this crazy press coverage, and I was all over the news, and I was on the front
You
page of the
were?
newspapers, which was crazy. 3 months, yeah. and uh, and when Dia was born, we got our first big order, which was like 10x the revenue, our monthly revenue. And I think, like, they're both like my little lucky stars and my charm. And just outside me, I think their Ida is, I always say that one of them is going to be a wildlife photographer, and one of them is going to be a lawyer that's going to solve for all the climate issues. Because Ida is like the wild one. She has this really vivacious, very like larger than life personality, very curious. She's definitely, like, every mother says it, but I know that she's smarter than every kid
Yeah.
I have come across at her age. She's so curious. They're both like, so they've got, like, my husband has really big eyes, so
Yeah.
they've both got his beautiful big eyes that can, like, I think, charm anyone. And they're both, I can just see it, they're both going to be like strong women who are really, really going to make a difference in this world,
Yeah.
and not just be another bystander. So
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are my two firecrackers.
Thanks for sharing that, Gauri. I constantly, while you were talking about them, I constantly had goosebumps, and I could see, while you were talking about it, your eyes and your entire being lit up, while thinking about them. So, so, so happy to see that kind of glow that parenthood brings alive
Yeah,
in
yeah,
people,
for
and
sure.
yeah, yeah, just so happy. about it. But I'm struck with one thing that you said, not about your daughters, but about Rishabh, your partner, that you fell for his looks. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you two meet? How has the relationship evolved over the years?
I
From
wonder who's
being.
interested in this information about me, but sure, I can share it. um, so Rish and I had a startup of my own in the not-for-profit space in
Yeah.
2012 after I transitioned from banking. And then, in 2015, there was like this tech boom. Everyone was becoming a tech founder, and the tech startups were like the it thing. Everyone was getting funded. It was crazy, and I wanted to sort of dabble into the tech industry. So then somebody introduced us
Yeah.
by saying that this is somebody who invests in tech startups, and he worked with this a fund called GSF,
Hmm.
and so someone introduced us, and we spoke over a call and all of that, and then later at some point we met, and just from a, and when I saw him I was like, oh my god, this guy is so good looking. Like I was, we get intimidated
Yeah.
talking to people who are like attractive, and I was like, okay. And so but anyway, both of us from a very private perspective were in different kind of zones in life, and then over time we just started hanging out with each other somehow,
Yeah.
and we were just like friends. We kind of knew everything about each other's lives,
Yeah.
and then I think over a period of 6 to 8 months of knowing each other, we started dating,
Uh-huh.
and then eventually it turned into getting married and all of that. So yeah, so it was a very like started with a very we wanted to actually be with other people. We want to get married to other people,
Yeah.
uh, and then I don't know how it happened. So, but I guess
But
that's
oh,
what destiny is.
yeah. Sounds really, yeah, mystical in that sense, if I can
Yeah,
use the
yeah.
word. Yeah. But how about now that you've been married for quite some time, 8 years now or 9 years, is it?
Eight
And
years.
8 years now, and raising two beautiful girls together. How's the dynamic like in your household now, with both of you being so ambitious, so career driven, and also so, I think, doting when it comes to being parents?
It's such a tough question, and I guess I don't know how vulnerable and all that I want to be, but I'll try to be as candid as possible
Yeah.
without disrupting our marriage. But so
No,
I
we
think
would not want we would not want any fireworks there.
okay. So I think the fact that everyone wonders that how am I operating a business sitting in a different country. We live in
Yeah.
Singapore, and we moved here because of his work,
Yeah.
but it was more because we kind of I think when we had kids, I was very sure that I'm someone from a very small town.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and I've grown up like in the countryside. I went to a boarding school. So for me, like I'm very like when I said I'm simple, I
Yeah.
really like believe in like the magic of the earth.
Yeah.
And I wanted my daughters to be born and grew up in an environment which was clean, which was fresh air, and safe, and the basic things that people
Yeah.
should be born in.
Yeah.
And so to me, like I think living here, it was that decision more than, oh, I'm moving because my husband got a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out well because the fact that I'm so away from my business, I'm really like zoomed out, and I can see
Right.
things with clarity versus being in the eye of the storm. And that really helps me, and even for my team to take on solve problems themselves, because
Yeah.
then they're just like, "Yeah, acha, she's not here, I
Yeah.
better figure it out myself." So it
Yeah.
actually works. I don't know how to explain it to a lot of people, but and so the fact I am home a lot, I work from home,
Yeah.
and I have actually created a very, we are fortunate to have some help. And I think the fact that I when I moved here, obviously the first year was very difficult, but I was very determined that, like I said, I'm very determined to have my own. Um, I want to fulfill my own aspirations,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to compromise them because I've had kids, or I have a husband, or I'm married, or I live in a different country. So I had to find a way to find some semblance and organize my life. So I think it took me a year, but I just created a routine that
Yeah.
how will my life be from when I wake up to when I sleep.
Yeah.
And that it was difficult. I used to wake up with a lot of anxiety, but I think now, I had my second daughter as well last year.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just, I'm not somebody who gets guilty because I'm a mom, and
Yeah.
I guess I'm a selfish person in many ways. So, to me, I just outsource things that
Yeah.
that could help me focus on my work.
Yeah.
And even like, with Rish, we both communicate. We try to communicate with each other what works, what doesn't work, what am I okay with, set boundaries that,
Yeah.
like you have to be home for the kids' dinner.
Yeah.
And I've also like kind of, at least I'll talk about myself. Like I've just set up a routine that the first 3 hours when I wake up are focused on me and the kids and nothing
Yeah.
else. Like I'm not going
Yeah.
to start answering and responding to emails and and
Yeah.
because I live in Singapore, the good thing is that I
Yeah.
also have the time difference. So India
Right.
just waking up when I'm kind of
Yeah.
done with my stuff, and I focus a lot on like just myself on working out, doing yoga, meditating, because I believe that you can organize your life and you can be structured.
Yeah.
And and so I think just being organized, setting a routine for myself, for the kids, outsourcing things like I don't need to bathe my daughter, I
Yeah.
don't have help, she can like bathe, or
Yeah.
like she can put the kids to sleep if required. Like I do the things that I want to do,
Yeah.
and I want to spend that quality time.
Yeah.
And like I said, it took me a year and a half to get here, to
Yeah.
talk about it with so much confidence. I was really a wreck. I went through a lot of health problems, and we talk about that later maybe. But I think it's just about having a routine and being organized. And once you do that, I think it's very easy to be able to do a lot of things, and
Yeah.
kind of realize that you can do it all, but you can't do it at once.
Right.
Like if I have a big work day, I cannot make like social plans to go out in the evening, or like if my husband wants to have dinner with me, we'll have to push it to another day. And I think we respect that about each other. It's not like, oh, I was waiting for dinner and you didn't come.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
like just moving on from being petty,
Yeah.
because there are bigger things to solve for.
Right.
And obviously we have our tough days where I'm just like, boss, why am I the one always like making the kids eat dinner?
Yeah.
And the team wants to get in touch with me, and my entire family is always complaining that you're always on your phone, and
Yeah.
Gauri will not have time. And I've become that person in the family that, okay, there's no point asking Gauri, she's not going to be available, so don't
Yeah.
even call her. And I've become an unreliable person in the family. But I guess I've just picked my battles as to what's
Yeah.
important for me at this point. And
Yeah.
so I think
And
that's what it is.
yeah, I think yeah, it's a fair. I mean, from where I stand, it sounds absolutely fair. And you know what you have, and I think you said it right when you said that you have picked your battles, and this is
Yeah.
we decide what is important in the short
Yeah.
and the long run, and then you choose your, you know, what you want to do accordingly. And I really like the fact that you said that, you know, you don't fuss over everything, and you choose what you want to do, and you do it well, like not bathing them, and you know, all of that transactional functional things which can translate into more time for yourself or for the work, and then you spend quality time with them. But let's talk about your journey into the whole, you know, the into motherhood, so to say, into parenthood. How did you envision this to be before you became a parent, and how different has it been, if at all? Did reality match your expectations?
I am somebody who is a very like larger than life, very passionate about everything.
Mhm.
Like everything in my head is a movie,
Yeah.
and my husband just like, you're living some rom com in your head, but that's not life.
Yeah.
And growing up, coming from a small town, our view of the world was watching all these Hollywood films and the way people lived. So, and I journal a lot, and I was in fact just writing this recently that it is exactly what I envisaged. I wanted two daughters.
Oh.
I wanted two girls, and I actually decided my daughter's name 3 years before she was born. Uh,
Wow.
and I knew I would have a daughter, and I kind of, and this is exactly how I wanted my life.
Mhm.
I didn't want it any other way. I wanted to live in a, small, beautiful home that I would do up and have two girls. I would be working, I would have a husband, we would do our own things. Like everything that I envisaged, that I
Yeah.
had in my head, it is
Yeah.
all of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And when we talk about like the actual process of birthing a child or having a child come out of your entire being,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a life-changing experience. So, did something change, or was that also what you envisaged it to be, like the birthing of both your daughters? And how was it like, mentally, physically, emotionally for you? Did things change, or for the better, for whatever, with your husband, because you were the one who was going through the motions physically, and in that sense, he was literally quite removed from the process, even though he might be in it with you
Yeah. Yeah.
emotionally. So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
was it all?
So I think, honestly, like everyone told me that, when you have your kids, it'll change your life, everything will change. Honestly, the day my daughter was born, I was screaming at my production manager कि हमारा order बाहर क्यों नहीं गया है. So I don't think I even realized I've had a child. It's very sad, and I won't say regret it, but I always feel bad about the fact that I wasn't mentally present
Yeah,
because I was so deep into my work then. And it was just honestly it's 1 year. It's not like anything would have happened if two orders would go out. But I think I've always been so deep into what I do
yeah,
that I didn't even realize it. Even the scans that I would have going to the doctors.
yeah,
I remember we were getting they were going to announce if we were going to get a very large funding for a grant,
yeah,
and that day I had my last the last appointment a month before the baby is
yeah,
born, and they check if everything is okay. And I remember going into like that machine
yeah,
thing and like getting the scan done, and I had my phone on like speaker, and the doctor's like, "What is this woman doing?" So I could just like say things if I needed
yeah,
to. It was so weird. So I
yeah,
think that process of birthing, I've had C sections for both
yeah,
my kids.
yeah,
Unfortunately, Dia was born 1 year prior to when she was her actual birth date, so she was 1 year 1 month premature,
oh,
and. And so it was a very stressful time, I remember, and it was like there was a lot going on. Rish and I would fight a lot during that time. We would argue a lot because like I think it's so hard for just anybody to understand what you're going through. Even there's so many hormones, emotions, everything is
yeah,
all over the place. With my first daughter, we she was born in Dehradun, Ida, and it was a completely remote place.
yeah,
uh, my Rishabh, he's a city boy, so he was just like, where is this woman gotten us? Why are we living in this village?
yeah,
And so for me, I got exactly everything I wanted. I want to have my daughter in this small countryside house, and whatever. But the birthing process, I think, was very like it's the first time you don't know what the hell is going on. You just hear
yeah,
stories, right?
yeah,
But I had kind of decided. I remember a lot of people telling me it's going to change your life, and a lot of close people in the family saying you're so much into your work. Overnight, you'll just be like, "Mujhe kuch nahi karna hai. This is all I want to do. I'm just going to take care of the kids." But it wasn't like that. It's not
yeah,
like the day my baby was born, I was like, I'm in love with her, and it took
yeah,
me a while to I think get that emotional attachment to her
yeah,
and realize this is my I have a daughter now. Even some days I just feel like I'm on my own in my own bubble. I'm a very zapped person,
yeah,
in life. And most people know who know me from a very young age know that I'm very zapped and lost in my own head.
yeah,
Um, so I think I was just lost
hmm,
when and I wasn't present when I was having my kids.
yeah,
Dia, yes, because I decided that I want to be present, and I
yeah.
remember that, and I mean, they're so cute now that I think now I just think of now it's just I've convinced myself it must be a very beautiful experience. But in reality, I don't think it was. It's very stressful.
Yeah,
Um, and with my husband, like, we did fight a lot. We would argue a lot. It was just like, like I didn't feel like, he understood me. I definitely felt that, oh my God, like I think I'll have to single parent. Oh God, I can't be with him. I'll have to leave him. And there were so many emotions, it was really crazy. I think both the kids, I never felt stressed out about the sleepless nights or but I decided that I accepted that this is what it is. Like I
yeah,
have to wake up and I have to
yeah,
feed the kids and I have to do what I gotta do. And
yeah,
so, so somewhere in my head, I convinced myself that this is how it's going to be and this is how I will make it. Like कुछ
yeah,
भी हो जाए, मैं तो ऐसे ही करूँगी.
yeah,
So, So I don't think it was stressful. Yes, like I said, we definitely argued. We fought about a lot of random stuff. I remember I would the first time Ida was born, I would like sit in the our little dressing room and I would cry and I would howl and I was like, why am I having a kid? This is so tough. Like it was I if I think through those times, I found it. I think the journey till she was born,
Yeah,
it was also COVID. Everything was
yeah,
very everyone was always on the edge, and
yeah,
so it was. Now I can't. Gosh, I totally forgotten about it. It was a very stressful time, but
yeah,
when you look at the photos, it's always so
yeah,
glorious and everything looks great.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the process was very normal. Like I didn't feel anything like, oh
yeah,
God, life has changed. I
yeah,
feel my life has changed now.
yeah.
You know.
And also, because you talked about, it being stressful then, and did you seek help around that time?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Both times. Like I now have a. I think I seeked help for the first time when I was pregnant with Ida because I
Yeah,
was going through a very very stressful time. I was like, I was, I've always been very skinny. My
yeah,
body was expanding. Clothes weren't fitting me. I remember I would just like be online trying to find clothes that would fit me. It made me
yeah,
nervous. How I would look? Would I just start would my body change? I couldn't understand. Everything is so new for you.
yeah,
So I remember I got help and it really helped, like just counseling, and I
yeah.
have those notes from then. And to date, I do have like one counselor.
Hmm.
I make it a point that I seek help. I'm
Yeah,
not somebody who will internalize things. I'm not somebody who shares a lot about my private life, even
yeah,
if it's with my close friends. I'll journal about it. I'll talk to my sister about it. I'll talk to Rish a little bit. But I think like just having a counselor to just let out how you're feeling, I
yeah,
definitely for sure, and I recommend that to everyone. It's so
yeah,
helpful.
yeah. I fully endorse that
Yeah.
view. And as a fellow, person who,
I know you're a parent yourself. I wonder what that's like.
yeah, but today we are not talking about me, Gauri. We are talking.
I would love to know at some point, but okay, chalo.
Yeah,
We'll just talk about it for now.
maybe we'll have a chat. Where in
Yeah.
your busy schedule, I'll find an hour.
Oh God, I'm really not that busy. I pretend.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. But you know what I'm really, really, I think fascinated by that you constantly refer to your current life stage as where you are maybe happier and more sorted in a way, and also somewhere at peace with the kind of routine you've built up for yourself, with the kind of ecosystem you have in place. So how do you do it? How do you balance being a mother, an entrepreneur, an individual, because that is very, very important to you, and then a partner, and whatever relationships you have with your immediate and extended family and friends? How do you do it all?
I don't think I do it all. But I was for the last. I think I've been building Suroi for 4 years,
Yeah,
and I think over the last 2 years of building it, it's been very very stressful. Just waking up with anxiety every day, feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like all sorts of emotions. You go through a lot, and nobody is able to understand it.
yeah,
Um, I would wake up every day feeling super super um, tired. I just want, and I didn't take a maternity break after both my kids. Within 3 4 days, I got back to work full swing. I would like not be with the kids. I would just be working, and I reached a point where I was like, I just don't want to do this. Like, this
yeah,
is not what I want to do. This is not worth it.
yeah,
But I love it. So
yeah,
how do I do this? How can I? And I was like, I'm responsible for all the artisans I work with. They rely on me,
yeah,
for their incomes, and for me to like hustle and get them sales. And how can I suddenly like say कि मुझे नहीं करना है,
yeah,
because, and so I literally took it to my deathbed.
yeah,
And I remember I was so stressed all the time. I wasn't able to be present for my family, for my kids. Like there would be times when my daughter would say, "Mama, just go away, just leave me alone." At like
yeah,
when she was 1 year old. My husband was like always pissed off at me. My family too had just given up. They're like, "Forget it, ye to hai nahi."
yeah,
And I was frustrated with myself,
yeah,
and it was I remember I lost vision in one eye, like almost 80% of my vision, because I got this autoimmune disease. And suddenly I couldn't see one day. And I went through that treatment for 1 year, and like a lot of health problems kept happening
Yeah.
because I was so stressed and frustrated all the time. And then I think earlier this year, I just decided that I'm going to just build a new template for myself. Nobody
Yeah.
can help me except myself. That if I've decided I want to do this, I want to enjoy my life. And I've done Sadhguru's course,
Yeah.
inner engineering, where the one thing I remember for that, and I did that like 4 or 5 years ago, is about how life is really fulfilling and there is pleasure in the simple things.
Yeah.
So I just decided that I'm going to change my life and I'm just going to enjoy it. I want to lead a life that I truly love, and I want to, I don't want to be delusional, but
Yeah.
I also want to really live. And so
Yeah.
I started at least, just recently, just honestly, just 30 days ago. I journal a lot, and I
Yeah.
started this audio like journal for myself, but I would just talk to myself like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And then I said that I want to build a new template for myself.
Yeah.
And the last 30 days, it's funny, I completed that 30 days yesterday,
Wow.
where every day from morning, I said that I'm going to just start by changing my morning routine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wake up in the morning and see my phone and start seeing messages and just get super stressed out and get like hectic and like worked up.
Yeah.
But I'm going to actually change that. And I started waking up in the morning, and I started journaling like the things that I should do, that
Yeah.
are in books like the 5 a.m. club or
Yeah.
Atomic Habits. And I said, if there's so many people who say it, let me try it.
Yeah.
And I just started waking up in the mornings, not picking up my phone. I still do, sometimes, but
Yeah.
kind of, working out, meditating, taking my kids, dropping my older daughter to school, taking the younger daughter in the carrier,
Yeah.
doing like a kilometer up and down walk,
Yeah.
talking to my, parents while I'm on the walk, coming back, showering, meditating. I actually love waking up in the morning, doing
Yeah.
all this and taking a nice shower. I love getting ready and feeling like great. I love feeling like I'm looking amazing.
Yeah.
And, even if I'm working from home, and
Yeah.
I love like sitting at my dressing table, and it has a beautiful Sirohi mirror, and, doing my
Wow.
hair, and like, just like, I don't put makeup, but still like I want
Yeah.
to feel amazing.
Yeah.
And that's when I, say that I'm going to sit at home and work or go wherever.
Yeah.
And so I decided to change that and started infusing every morning with just, whether I was anxious or not, I created a routine for myself that involved 4 to 5 things of working out, meditating, uh, spending time with the kids, dropping them to school, getting ready, I eat a very light breakfast. And so I realized that that truly changed my life,
Yeah.
because I knew that no matter what happens during the day,
Yeah.
when I sleep at night and I wake up the next day, my mornings are truly like unfuckable. Like
Yeah.
anyone could do anything,
Yeah.
could be ho jaye. But I know that if I put a little bit of effort,
Yeah.
I truly feel like happy, till at least, I sit down to work and uske baad jo hona hai dekhenge.
Yeah.
And that template like just changed my life, because I was like, it's something I devised. So I felt like, this is mine. This is,
Yeah.
and not from a book.
Yeah.
This is my template.
Yeah.
And it just changed my life. And so I in the mornings I spend time with myself, with my kids. Um, and then dedicatedly from like 10 a.m. or Singapore time till like 5 p.m. Singapore time, which is 7 hours, I work non-stop, like just I'm just there. I
Yeah.
don't gallivant or do anything random. And then I block that time on my calendar from 5 o'clock to like literally like 8:30. That's 3.5 hours IST. And my team, I've told them it's that nobody is allowed to disturb me unless super urgent, and you
Yeah.
got to do what you got to do. And I spend time with my kids, have dinner with them, put them to sleep and
Yeah.
whatever. And sometimes I always tell my husband that, boss, you should also be here, but he never
Yeah.
does. And that's what we're always fighting about that. And then after that, either I'm like really exhausted by then if I've had a really shit day, or I'm tired, or I will like work again. It gets really tiring to make your daughter sleep, and
Yeah.
I'm like passing out while making her
Yeah.
sleep. You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
When you're just trying to make them sleep for 1 hour, like soja, or like a story, mama tell me a story, and like come up, use your head to come up with stories.
Yeah.
And then I wake up again, which gets really exhausting. And I again either work from like 9 p.m. till like 12.
Yeah,
If I have things to like emails and pending stuff in the from the middle, or I will go out with my friends and have a social life, or I'll just
yeah,
watch a film. So
yeah,
I, like oscillate between three, four other extra things.
yeah.
But typically, like I just devise this routine for myself, and every day of my life is this.
Yeah, this really sounds, as I think you've used a very nice word for it. It really is a template, and
Yeah.
being, I mean, of course, I've said that it's not my story, it's your story, but I so relate with whatever you are saying because I am truly kind of the same, and I do that. I have,
That's amazing. I'm so
I
glad to hear that. I would love to hear what your template is.
oh,
And that's the other like option of my book, the template.
Okay, but okay, I'll tell you mine, but I think after the podcast, otherwise I don't want to lose the precious airtime I've got with you. So I'll listen to your story first. You have devised a template for yourself, a routine for yourself, which means putting some things on there which are kind of non-negotiables for you. But that also means that you would have to leave some things out of there which are kind of not so important to you anymore, or you would have to let go of now because you have limited bandwidth and limited time on that calendar. So what are some of those things that you have let go of?
Okay, so there's so many things I have to let go. I'm a mom that has two kids. They're
Yeah,
constantly like play dates being planned. They're
yeah,
constantly like, like take your kid to music. My kids do no classes because I just don't have the time. They're
yeah,
just figuring it out and finding just going to the condo playground. So I have to, like, I don't do any like midweek like lunches or play dates with other moms. And
yeah,
I feel bad because my kids have to just be at home, and I feel like she should go for gym class but she's not. I've tried that in the middle, but I've never had the time, so I sacrifice a lot of those things, the little fun stuff, I guess. I think I've missed a lot of like my she's just 3 years old, but like her parent teacher meetings, or like like forgotten to take her for like her monthly vaccine, and that will happen 15 days later because I'll be like, oh
yeah,
my god, like so I think like a lot of important things like that. Then definitely like we have a lot of family friends. I miss
yeah,
a lot of family events, outings, gatherings. I a lot of like social events for sure. Even if like my family is visiting, because we don't live in India, or my husband's
yeah,
family is visiting, I'm always the only person who's never there for family like lunches or dinners or whatever. I try my best to be there, but they're typically like, like we're
yeah,
asking you again, are you sure you will come? Are you sure you will come? And I'll still cancel last minute. Either I'm tired or I have a call or something has come up, and
yeah,
you'll all, and I'm always that person who's saying, I just need to do this, I just need to do this. It's become like the family joke.
yeah.
uh, um, so I think some of those things, I'm always not the person who's calling like my parents or to check in. And so like so many things, like I'm just constantly like being that like loser that's just not
Oh,
available for
please.
stuff. अब ठीक है अब है तो है अब क्या करें I just like suck it up and like deal with it, and other
Yeah,
people have to just suck it up and deal with it.
yeah. And because you're talking about things that you are missing, and I think, yeah, most of the things that you can deal with is related to your own self, but when it comes to kids, I'm sure there is a little bit of that, not really guilt, but it's just that they are missing out on certain things. So is there a particularly difficult moment in your parenting journey that you remember, that which arose because of this kind of you being focused somewhere and your kids feeling probably somewhere left out, and that kind of a thing, which was maybe very very difficult for you to navigate, but you did come out of it.
Yeah, for sure. When we just moved to Singapore, I was so nervous about how I would manage my work living here, and just having a daughter who's 1 year old, and I wasn't pregnant that time with
Hmm.
my second. And I was, and then I just forgot that, I not I forgot I had a kid, but I would just work because I was so
Yeah.
stressed of losing out on everything.
Yeah.
And we have help here, so my daughter was hanging out with the help, and for like consistently 4 to 5 months, it just reached a point after a while, because I wasn't available and I was working, that she would just be like, I don't want you, go away, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want mama, anyone but mama, and I would feel so bad, like I would cry, and it would just make me feel really, really bad. um, and I think, like, then I obviously did try that, then I started like doing, like, every weekend I would take her grocery shopping, and I love grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So we just started creating that, okay, this is girls time, this is time
Yeah.
for you and me, we will just do things together. So I think it took me a few months, but I know, like, I felt like, she just hated me. And even now, sometimes she'll be like, Mama, just leave your phone. Just leave your phone, Mama. I
Yeah.
don't want to see your phone. And so definitely there's all those things, and it makes me feel really bad, but I just go into, like, I feel like, I'm just like hypnotized, because when
Yeah.
I'm working, I'm really like so into it that I don't even realize someone is speaking to me. So she
Yeah.
could be standing there and saying that, Mama, leave your phone, I'm talking to you, leave your phone. But I'm just like not responsive, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, and I see that, and now she just started saying that, oh, Mama's busy, Mama working.
Yeah.
um, but I'm trying, and that's where I think my template comes in. That I've just
Yeah.
decided that, if I have to do this, I'm not going to be part of that tox. I'm going to hustle, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring toxicity to my life.
Yeah.
And 10 years, 15 years later, let's say Sirohi becomes the most successful brand in the world. I definitely don't want to be that person who is just like, who doesn't have a family, whose
Yeah.
husband has left her. Like, I will, at least from be conscious of the fact that I have a life outside
Yeah.
my work, and my work is not my life.
Yeah.
Um, and I won't let my ambition or my obsession with it become, you know, make me go crazy or mental. Sometimes I do, but I think I'm just cognizant of the fact that, I don't want to be one of those parents
Yeah.
ever. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. And because you talked about, her, you moving to Singapore when Ida was 1 year old, and
yeah,
then you got pregnant with your second child, probably 6, 7 months down the line.
yeah,
And
6 months.
yeah, so how has it been with the siblings? How are the girls like with each other? And has Ida, how is Ida with
Yeah,
the? Hmm.
Vidya. I think, there I just I have a sister, and for me, like, the logic of
Yeah.
having two, it's not like I decided I wanted two girls, it just happened. But was that I wanted two girls who would be very close to each other, and we
Yeah.
would be best friends. And I am always like, she is your baby and she's
Yeah.
yours. And, like, a lot of people said that, the older child gets insecure, and they start like getting really like hectic, and they start getting jealous and all that. All that happened with Ida, of course, and she would get. But we always, make Ida feel that Dia is hers first before anybody
Yeah.
else's. So she feels a sense of ownership
Yeah.
towards her. And they're both, she's very protective of her, and she's very like, my sister and my baby.
Hmm.
Um, and they're both like, she's always hugging her. And obviously there are times where she'll just be walking and she'll just whack her on the head.
Yeah.
So they're crazy, but I think, she truly loves her, and I think
Yeah.
they really are going to be like, like inseparable when they grow up.
Wow. Sounds really, really beautiful and aspirational,
Yeah.
I should say. Yeah. And has Dia started walking?
Yeah, Dia started walking a few weeks before her first birthday. I
Wow.
was in India working when she started walking, so I missed that. I missed a lot of the milestones from when she said her first word to when she started walking, and like,
You know what I truly, truly think? Milestones are overrated.
they are. I don't want
Yeah.
to say it. I was just like, "ठीक है, she's walking now."
हाँ,
Like,
मतलब she'll keep walking, ठीक है?
yeah, exactly. Like, like when I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, she's walking. Like, that's
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah.
it's fine. I saw it, it's not
Yeah.
like you have to be there. So
Yeah.
I don't get like fretted. I like sometimes it's like messed up because I don't fret over this, but
Yeah.
everyone's just like, are you like heartless or what? My
No,
family just
I
says,
think
"मैं
it's
तो
just
दिल्ली
being,
में है."
no, but I think it's just being practical and really, really, going back to what you said earlier, it's like choosing your battles, and you are choosing the right ones in a lot of ways. So, yeah.
Yeah, about that. But no, I think it was it's it's she's walking, she's babbling, she's saying mama, but not to me, it's just like mama, mum, mum, like all these
Yeah.
things. She just like, and she's like, and ironically, like Ida is very like independent, and she's like me, literally.
Yeah.
Everyone says she's a carbon copy of me.
Yeah.
But Dia is very like, like it's not like I haven't put her to bed like since month one of her
Oh,
being born. She sleeps in her cot. I don't like hug her and sleep or whatever.
yeah.
But she's still so attached to me, and like the moment like I come, we've got like this very deep bond.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I truly, I don't understand so much of your bonding with Ida because I'm not there. But with Dia, I truly, truly get it because my son is just about 14 and a half months old. And
yeah. Oh
he,
wow.
yeah, so he's, I think, and boys are a little slower, as they say, in terms of their milestones and all. No, seriously, you said, Dia started walking just a few weeks before her first birthday, and we just kept waiting, when would my son walk? And he just started walking like 4 days back. So now he's just walking, he's just tottering around. So I truly, truly get that when you say about
Yeah,
Dia. So it's very interesting to know.
it's amazing.
Yeah. And Gauri, is there something that something truly unexpected that you've learned from your baby girls?
I think what I've learned from them is just like I said, like I'm a simple person, but I just forgot about the simplicity of life.
Yeah.
Because we get so caught up in like like 10 cheeze
Yeah.
karni hai kind of things. And sometimes I just see them, I'm just sitting and they just like, obviously they're also kids, they have no responsibility.
Yeah.
But they're just like, they're just so in the moment. And if they're laughing, they're just laughing. And they're
Yeah.
just like, like being silly, and like they're just so real. And there's like Ida will like spot like a tiny ant sitting like 10 kilometers away. She's just so sharp. And I think like just being with them, I've just realized that wow, like like you can really be present,
Yeah.
and you can truly just like I just you can truly just enjoy life,
Yeah. Yeah.
with them. You don't have to like some people are just like, oh, we're now our parents, we can't go out partying, or we can't like do 100 things. I
Yeah.
feel like the stage that you are at your life, and the reason why you have different stages is like if you're truly like wholly in that stage, life can be so like beautiful. And
Yeah.
I think just being with them, I was trying to find happiness and joy everywhere else, but
Yeah.
just being with them, I realized that it's right here. Like, where
Yeah.
am I looking for it?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. So
it's
I'll go a little deeper into this question, Gauri. Now that you said it, that you said that life is happening here, and this is so. So what is your idea of a happy place? Is it a location? Is it a state of mind or a specific activity? What is your happy place?
I'm such a fleeting person. Like every place I go to, I was like, oh my god, I wish I could live here. It's so beautiful. Like we were in Vietnam recently, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. I just want to live here. So I think my happy place is, it could be honestly anywhere in the world
Yeah.
except a city. It has to be like a like a small,
Yeah.
town anywhere. And and I guess like not it could be any place in the world, but just has the basics. I just want clean air, good food, safety, the basics that we were all born with,
Yeah.
and not what the world has infused in our lives now.
Yeah.
I am not somebody who cares about big fancy houses. I just want a small home with a garden outdoors,
Yeah.
so that the kids can play and they have outdoor area and all that. And just for my family, like for us to eat well, be
Yeah.
healthy, for us to like laugh and smile together, and for us to have our own lives and do whatever. But just what I have now, is I
Yeah.
want this to be my life forever, you know.
Wow.
And it could be anywhere in the world with, like I said, the basics, and I
Yeah.
would just be like happy with
Yeah.
this.
Sounds quite content and joyful. Yeah. And now a little bit of confession time. Is there something that you swore that you won't ever do when you become a mom or as a parent that you now end up doing or you do?
So many things, I guess. I think, when you're younger, I was like, when I become a mom, I will never, like, scream at my kids, or I will never, oh my God, I'm always just like, if you don't do this, I will do this to you. If you don't do this, I'll call the police. Like, I just like threaten them all the time. And I have like really dumb stuff like that. Um, and I don't know, like, I don't think I never thought, I don't think too much about things,
Yeah.
it's really weird
Yeah.
as like the specifics. I'll think about like macro stuff, but I won't
Yeah.
think of like when I become a mom, I will not. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I think like there's nothing. Like I love going out. I love drinking. I love partying. I love like just like really enjoying life for myself.
Yeah.
So I don't think I decided that when I become a mom, I
This
won't
is
do that.
how
I
I will.
wonder what you can't do when you become a mom. Like I'm just trying to think like what changes that you
No,
can't do.
in terms of like, like how I see it
Tell
is.
me what would you not do?
No, the thing is, so I'll tell you how I see it. Okay. I see it like when I would see my friends or, my family having kids and they would be like, like they would be like, do this or this, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then you would be like, oh, if it were my kid, I would never do that to my kid. And then suddenly tables completely change when you have a kid of your own because you're like, oh my God, this is so tough. And please, I'll do whatever, just do this, that kind of a thing. So, yeah, more
I mean,
like,
I'm always my daughter loves dancing. She like I'm the DJ. I'm gonna like she's exactly like me. So when people come, I'm like, okay, Ida, dance on that song and show everyone your dance.
oh
So
my
I'm
goodness.
actually like that mother who's just like,
Yeah.
better dance karke dikhao.
No, this exactly this conversation we were having this weekend. We went to a friend's house and they have two boys and we have one, and there were three boys in the house and total ruckus. And then suddenly I've started, telling my friend about all the new things that my son
Yeah.
has started doing, and suddenly I just caught myself doing that, and I'm like, what am I doing? I have become one of those performance mothers that okay beta ye karke dikhao wo karke dikhao and all that. Anyway, I think we are coming to an end of this episode, and also I'm cognizant of your time. But
Yeah.
there are two things that I want you to answer before you go. One is that if if you could go back in time, and there is an advice that you could give your pre-parent self, what would that be?
Oh my God. What would I tell my pre-paper?
Yeah,
Matlab, like,
matlab before having Ida, if you were to tell something to yourself.
I think, I would definitely say that don't get so worked up about your work because work will come and go.
Yeah.
Be in the moment when you're having your kids. Like the one thing I really wish that I was present is when they were born, and I truly like felt that magic that, oh my God, there's something that's come out of me and I was present. I think I missed that, and I don't think I want to have a third kid to experience it for sure.
Yeah.
I think that part, and just this, I think I honestly just would want. I've changed that now to be truly, truly present when they were like little babies, and I wish I could have just let my work suffer, or I would have let my work be like, it's okay, you know what, like, chalo theek hai, wo order miss ho gaya. It's hard, honestly.
Yeah.
That order is always bigger than the child.
Yeah.
But I think I wish I was just there, to
Yeah.
feel their birds, to feel them in my arms, to feel them. I feel like I was kissing her and I didn't know I was kissing her.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to truly feel being with them the first few months of them being born, of how tiny they were. And yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I could tell myself before that
Yeah.
just be there and be a mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could do something to, bring that experience
Yeah,
back to you. But yeah,
it's
I truly think that you have taken it in the best possible way, and you have kind of tried to make your life as it is today. Kind of it's just like that. From our most challenging moments come the most revolutionary steps towards leading a life that is of fulfillment, and I think you are on your way to do that very, very nicely. But the last question before we wrap up, Gauri, it's is there any message that you would like to leave our listeners who are maybe fellow parents, to be parents, or not looking to be parents, that embodies your spirit and resonates with your journey as a parent?
I think to be a great parent, you need to be a parent to yourself
Mm-hmm.
and focus on yourself, because the best thing you can give your kids is a happy parent,
Yeah,
that you're happy and you're there, and you are, they can feel like because they're like kids, they're like sponges, they're
yeah,
absorbing everything. So you just want to be there with them and be a happy person, and you can only be a happy person when you are happy, when
yeah,
you're not doing well, so I think take care of yourself and be selfish, focus on your mental, as cliched and as, like what everyone says, it's true. If you really take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, soulfully, I think that energy that you get is so powerful that, the world thrives on energy.
yeah,
It thrives on, like how they say, when you walk into a room and you can feel the presence of a person,
yeah,
that energy, you should build that up, for yourself. And all of that comes through, work, like what everyone talks about, meditation, and like sports, or like working out, or yoga, and like
yeah,
movement, nature. I don't know, everyone has their own thing.
yeah.
So I think build your own template.
Beautiful, beautiful words to end, your journey, sharing of your journey with us,
Yeah.
Gauri. Thank you so much for being here today. I think your journey is just so beautiful, and it's a testament to the strength and resilience of not just yourself, but all the women, who are balancing their passions, their ambitions with this reality of being a mother. And I truly appreciate your candidness about the challenges and triumphs of juggling a thriving career with raising young children. And I think it's incredibly refreshing and empowering for fellow listeners who are listening of that vulnerability, and how you opened up about your challenges. I think it's just beautiful. And also I must add that you have really, really offered us a glimpse into the life of a modern day working mother, especially, and also a parent who's really ambitious, and it's relatable and it's aspirational. So truly, truly grateful for your openness and your candidness in sharing your experience and your journey. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me. I feel like, doing stuff like this is therapy. You can just
Yeah,
like let out all the emotions that you don't, people don't normally ask you. How were you feeling? How did you feel when the kid was born? And I think this is so therapeutic. So please do this with as many women entrepreneurs, because I think it gives them just a platform to just talk about how they're truly feeling, more than
yeah,
anything else.
yeah.
And to me, like, I'm feeling lighter after this conversation. So
Wow.
thanks so much.
I'm going to take that as a compliment, and
Of course, you must. Everyone only talks about the entrepreneurship and your numbers and, ये कैसे solve किया and how did you get investors. Nobody really asks that, who are your kids, who are your family.
yeah,
And sometimes just it's refreshing to be able to talk about your life.
yeah.
That's your life.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your journey. And now a word for our listeners, a heartfelt thank you to all of you. Remember, you're not alone in this incredible journey. Parenthood is a roller coaster filled with laughter, tears, triumphs, and challenges. But it's also a journey of immense growth, love, and connection. Thank you for tuning in. And if you like this episode, share it with fellow parents who could benefit from Gauri's wisdom and experiences. Let's create a stronger support network together. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to Parenthood for more inspiring stories and a sense of community. And most importantly, be kind to yourselves. This is Neha Garg signing off. Until next time, take care of yourselves and cherish every moment of this beautiful, chaotic adventure called parenthood.